£25 pull limitation for telecommunications cables and conduit does not affect the maximum distance between junction boxes. The maximum distance between junction boxes is typically determined by the following factors: firstly, code requirements; secondly, cable size and type; thirdly, conduit size and fill; and fourthly, environmental factors. The National Electrical Code or local building codes may specify maximum distances between junction boxes. The size and type of cable used can affect the maximum distance between junction boxes due to voltage drop, signal loss, or heat dissipation. The size and fill rate of the conduit can limit the distance between junction boxes due to bending radius requirements or cable congestion. Extreme temperatures, moisture, or chemicals can affect the cable insulation and require more frequent junction boxes for inspection and maintenance. In general, the maximum distance between junction boxes for telecommunications cables is not limited to 100 feet. However, it is recommended to keep the distance below 500 feet to ensure signal integrity and reduce the risk of cable damage during pulling. Therefore, if the £25 pull limitation is met, the distance between junction boxes can exceed 100 feet based on the other factors. Let's delve deeper into each of these factors. Firstly, code requirements. It's crucial to consult the National Electrical Code, often referred to as the NEC, and any local building codes in effect in your specific jurisdiction. These codes establish safety standards for electrical installations, including telecommunications cabling. They may specify the maximum allowable distances between junction boxes to facilitate access for inspection, maintenance, and future modifications. Compliance with these codes is mandatory and ensures the safety and reliability of the installation. Secondly, cable size and type. The size and type of telecommunications cables significantly influence the maximum distance between junction boxes. Larger cables, particularly those carrying high bandwidth signals, are more susceptible to signal degradation over longer distances. This degradation can manifest as voltage drop, where the signal strength diminishes as it travels along the cable, or as signal loss, where the integrity of the signal is compromised by interference or attenuation. Additionally, the type of cable, whether it's coaxial, twisted pair, or fiber optic, affects its ability to transmit signals efficiently over distance. Considerations such as the cable's shielding, insulation, and impedance characteristics play a crucial role in determining the optimal spacing between junction boxes. Heat dissipation is also a factor, as some cables generate more heat than others, and this can impact the cable's performance and longevity if not properly managed. Thirdly, conduit size and fill. The size of the conduit and the extent to which it's filled with cables play a critical role in determining the maximum distance between junction boxes. Overcrowding a conduit with too many cables can lead to several problems. Firstly, it increases the risk of cable damage during installation, as the cables may be subjected to excessive stress and bending. Secondly, it hinders heat dissipation, potentially leading to overheating and premature cable failure. Thirdly, it makes it difficult to add, remove, or modify cables in the future. Furthermore, the bending radius of the conduit is a critical consideration. Sharp bends can damage the cables and impair signal transmission. Therefore, the conduit must be sized appropriately to accommodate the cables and allow for gradual bends that meet the cable manufacturer's specifications. Fourthly, environmental factors. The environment in which the telecommunications cables are installed can significantly impact the spacing between junction boxes. Extreme temperatures, whether excessively hot or cold, can affect the cable insulation and performance. Moisture, whether from humidity or direct contact with water, can corrode the cable conductors and degrade the signal quality. Exposure to chemicals, such as solvents or corrosive substances, can also damage the cable insulation and necessitate more frequent junction boxes for inspection and maintenance. In harsh environments, it may be necessary to use specialized cables with enhanced protection against these factors and to reduce the distance between junction boxes to facilitate regular inspections and repairs. A £25 pull limitation is a crucial aspect of cable installation, designed to prevent damage to the cables and the conduit during the pulling process. Exceeding this limit can cause stress on the cables, potentially leading to insulation damage, conductor breakage, or deformation of the conduit. To minimize the pulling force, it's essential to use appropriate lubrication, proper pulling techniques, and adequately sized pulling equipment. The placement of junction boxes can also influence the pulling force, as more frequent junction boxes reduce the length of cable being pulled at any given time, thereby reducing the overall tension. While the 25-pound pull limitation doesn't directly dictate the maximum distance between junction boxes, it underscores the importance of careful planning and execution to ensure the integrity of the cable installation. To ensure optimal performance and reliability, it's advisable to keep the distance between junction boxes below 500 feet. This recommendation is based on industry best practices and is intended to minimize signal degradation, reduce the risk of cable damage during pulling, and facilitate future maintenance and modifications. However, the specific distance may vary depending on the factors discussed earlier, such as cable size, type, conduit size, and environmental conditions. Ultimately, the decision on the spacing between junction boxes should be based on a thorough assessment of all relevant factors and in accordance with applicable codes and standards. Proper documentation of the cable installation, including the location of junction boxes and the types of cables used, is essential for future reference and maintenance. In summary, while the 25-pound pull limitation is a critical consideration during cable installation, it doesn't directly restrict the maximum distance between junction boxes. The spacing between junction boxes is primarily governed by code requirements, cable size and type, conduit size and fill, and environmental factors. By carefully considering these factors and adhering to industry best practices, you can ensure a safe, reliable, and efficient telecommunications cabling system. Remember to consult with qualified professionals and local authorities to ensure compliance with all applicable regulations and standards.